take the broken pieces of my life and the recovery that ensued, that came from that, and it's become my life, my personal professional mission, which is to help others who've been broken put their pieces together and transform their lives, including and specifically with addictions and the eating addiction in its various forms. But everybody has the opportunity to do a tikkun, as I did. And many times for Olim, it's gotten to the crisis point when they come here. And to help do the tikkun, I'm an optimist about everything in life. And as well as the opportunity for people to do a tikkun and choose a mindful, whole, serene, joyous life. And that's what I do.
What would you say are some of the more difficult difficulties coming from outside of this country to live? What would you say some of the challenges that are not usual for somebody who was just born here?
Okay, so everything seems to work differently. I think America has its bureaucracy, but Israel's bureaucracy is special, and it works at a different pace than that of the States. Requires more legwork, more time, more patience. It is the Middle East here. I think since I've been here and I've had to go through the bureaucracy 3 times of moving here, I see that it's gotten better, but it's still very different. People behave differently. Society's norms for how to relate to one another are different. More assertive, more aggressive here. Almost inviting you to stand firmly for what you want without the American politeness. And I think it's in some ways more real here, but that American politeness is a nice thing.
But more challenging.
Yes. I've been involved in Israeli workplaces. I know there are many Americans who come here and they work in an Anglo work environment, the Sochnut, the Jewish agency, or Ramah, or whatever it is. And it's like a little world, or non-for-profits that are funded from the States. It's like a little America, but I've been in Israeli workplaces, and that is really different, the kind of ways that people, and that's something I don't want to get used to. I know how to do it. I know how people talk in a much more aggressive way than I would ever choose to talk in the workplace. And that's a big hurdle.
What do you think some of the interesting or elevating experiences moving from the States to Israel for a new immigrant, especially from the West? What's here for us?
What's here for us is the total Jewish life. And for me, it really doesn't matter if someone's going to go to the beach or to synagogue on Shabbat. But everyone has a chag. It's a chag for everyone. And one of the most poignant examples, I think, before I moved here in 81, I worked in the best of American alternative education schools. The principal was a self-hating Jew. When I told him I wouldn't be there on the first day of Sukkot, or the first 2 days of Sukkot, he asked me if I sleep in a different bed than my husband. I mean, he's so cynical about Jewish law. Most of the time I didn't have to fight to be Jewish growing up in America, in Philadelphia, New York. But here, it's our life, it's our calendar, it's our Shabbat. And each week on Shabbat, for me, it's a spiritual experience to get to see the streets and clearing out, Schenken especially, and beginning again after Shabbat, after Havdalah. That for me is elevating. In Yerushalayim, it's the walls and the wall and the stones, and for me here, it's the beach. It's being able to daven at the beach, dance at the beach, folk dancing, although I did in America, there's nothing like it. And there's a spirit here that just doesn't exist for me. The joy, you can walk into a dance session at 1 in the morning on a Thursday night, on a Wednesday night, and think it's a party, but it's just a regular Wednesday night. And for me, and for people I've encountered, an opportunity to open up spiritual horizons that weren't there for some reason in the States. the total Jewish existence. You know, kids going to school and learning Tanakh. My granddaughter going to Gan and learning about Yom Kippur, whether it's riding a bicycle or saying, I'm sorry, Safta, for what I've done this year. You know.
So what are some of the activities that you do in Israel that you now focus on in terms of your work?
So it's really developing a private practice in integrative psychospiritual therapy, specializing in eating disorders, addictions, but really well-being. I don't believe anymore that stam talking, helps a person improve the quality of his life as much as combining that with the meditative music, with guided imagery, with journal writing, with homework, with spiritual teachings, anything that is food for the neshama, for the soul, I use in my work, including creating an environment in which to do the work. And focusing on my efforts, I'm in recovery from a severe eating addiction, on people who've been there, including obesity, where there's a lot of despair. I can say I've been there. I know there is a way out. It's a prison. It is a prison that people can only empathize with if they haven't been there. But if you've been there, you know that you know the inner prison. That's part of the work that I do in a clinic as well as privately. I believe that change happens, it's best to create change in schools, begin young. Israel, like America, is becoming an addicted society. And to help children, give children the skill, the